So while I got on Facebook the other day, I happened to notice, on this one page, the comments section, you know, I don't know what the page was about. I think it was like a movie page. But somebody just made a statement that Jesus saves and stuff like that, or something, like that in the comment section. And, there was that a laughing emoji by some people. And to me, it really doesn't make sense to post something like that, because not only is it going to get ridiculed, but what's it going to do? Do they honestly think that somebody's going to fall to their knees, weeping and crying, and accept Jesus from just a statement like that? So it something like that just does not make sense to me, unless God has specifically told you go and post a comment. Now, if He told you to do that, then awesome. But I can't see how that's going to do any good but get ridiculed by the people of the world. And, I recall, when I was new to Christ, I did the same thing. I'd roll my window down and say, repent for the kingdom of heaven is near. And I would just do random stuff with zeal, but it was zeal without knowledge. And what did I, hope to accomplish by, doing stuff like that? I don't know. But, God understood. But, as I look back on it now, it just doesn't make sense. So, you know, if anything, comments like that will just turn people away from God. Because maybe there's past experiences in their life in which, Christians showed themselves unloving. And, maybe they were hurt by somebody in the church or whatever. And so they're in that place probably in which they're like, they don't know if God exists or if He's real, or, maybe they're just hurt. And they blame God for that. So anything that they see about God, they will mock and ridicule. And so, it really takes wisdom in, you know, knowing what to do in every circumstance and every decision. And I mean, for people to post stuff like that, maybe, like I said, they're new believers, maybe they really love God. But, when I think about the Apostle Paul and how he was, trying to bring not only the Jews but the Gentiles to Jesus. He said, I became everything to every man. To the Jew, I became a Jew, but I didn't pick up the law and follow the law. To the Gentiles, I didn't put down the law of God, but I didn't, take on, Gentile customs. He took the time to reason out with somebody. He didn't just go out to the Jewish people and say, believe in Jesus or perish. He didn't do that. If anything, he reasoned in the synagogues every week, to try to turn them to God. And he got to the point to where he got fed up and said, I'm only going to the Gentiles. So, you have to use tact. Does it make any sense, for example, to go into like a rock concert and just automatically state and start talking about chocolate? What does chocolate have to do with the rock concert? To state something like that doesn't make any sense. Would you think that, haters of ice cream are going to like hearing about chocolate? Stupid example, but, it just shows how random something like that is, and how it, really just doesn't make sense. If I'm going to talk to somebody about Jesus, and this is like, witnessing 101, you know, in the past, when I started learning about doing it, You know, I didn't just go out to somebody and just randomly talk about Jesus. You know, I would, sit next to somebody, and one time I had a Bible in my hand and I was reading it, you know, and so this businessman sat down next to me, said, "Hey, is that a Bible?" I said, "Yeah." And then he started talking, about his life and how he was committed to God, but then he started getting busy with work and, things of that sort. And I was like, "You know what? Do you just want to recommit to God?" And he said, "Yeah." Or, you know, maybe you get into conversation about somebody, with somebody, and talking about different things and stuff. And so I would put out, yeah, I went to church the other day, you know, to see if they were open to any kind of things about God. If they mentioned about God, then, that's an open door to talk to them. But you don't pressure somebody, to accept Jesus and stuff like that, tallying the numbers in your little record book. That's one of the biggest pet peeves that I have. When I hear about people is that to a lot there's just people are just numbers to them. You know, Forget the fact that they're humans. They're dealing with things. They have feelings and stuff like that. So, it takes getting to know somebody, before you offer them, a solution. You know, Somebody's going through hardships and, facing bills, you know, you would let them know, hey, this is what God done for me. This is how God provided in my life. And you have something to offer them. Not just go up to somebody, randomly in the store and say, you know, in conversation about t-shirts, Jesus is awesome. What does that have to do with the conversation? Yeah, I acknowledge the fact that you love God, you love Jesus with all your heart, but don't put him in a random place in a conversation when it doesn't make any sense. It's like somebody's sleeping at night and you get in there and you know, put a flashlight in their eyes. You have to, get them used to, the things of God before you would, just blurt it out, if you know what I mean. You know, you get a feel for them to see if they're open to, spiritual things. There's a time and a place in order to talk about God. You know, if you're witnessing to somebody, you want to show them the love of God. You want to show them the character of Christ before you would even, start talking about it. So it just, it makes no sense when people do that, and it's irritating. If anything, when people post comments like that randomly on a comment board or a post board, it just, all it does is set that person up for ridicule and for, people to mock God and stuff like that. If you want to talk about God, talk with somebody in person or in a private message. See if they're open to spiritual things, or, if you're going to make a post like that, you know, and you have people that are, mocking you, you know, go to that person and say, hey, write me personally and we'll talk about it. If you have an issue with God, we could talk. Because if you're, posting a random comment like that and you're trying to, reason that person into the kingdom, you're having other people that are seeing that and they're going to interject. And you're never going to get anywhere with the original person you're trying to say, bring to God, because you're getting that person to see the others that are coming against your message, and they're going to side with them against you. So, it's never good to do it on a comment board. It's always better in person or in a private message. That way it's you one-on-one with them, and then you can talk about, the things of God. You can talk about issues, whatever may be stopping them from coming to God. So I just wanted to share that bit of, irritation with you that I see, and just how there's a lot of Christians out there that just do things that really just doesn't make sense whatsoever, and like I said, I have no doubt that they love God, but, you got to use a little wisdom and tact. You can't just randomly say, blurt out something that, the setting wouldn't make any sense, so that's my 2 cents, and I just wanted to share it with you. Thanks for taking the time to watch.